The colleagues will continue our press briefings. We'll speak about a very interesting project. Volunteers from other countries help Ukraine to build back Eastern Ukraine and also our military men in AT area. And those who suffered because of events on Maidan will receive a lot of financial support from other countries. Our Canadian diaspora is one of the most active. They help Ukraine a lot. Here's a very interesting project. Canadian surgeons are coming to Ukraine too for plastic surgery for those who suffered because of events on Maidan and those who suffered because in ATO area. We'll speak about that project with Victor Hetmanczuk, president of Canadian Ukraine Foundation.
Perform reconstructive surgery for Ukrainians injured in the Maidan and the ITO zone. The project name is Operation Rainbow Canada. І пан Hetmanczuk нам розповість деталі. Прошу вас.
Questions afterwards in Ukrainian and English, and I will answer in the language that it was asked. My presentation will be in three parts. I'd like to first of all introduce you to the Canada-Ukraine Foundation. I will also talk to you about the other 5 current projects that we have going on here in Ukraine. And my third topic will be obviously the Operation Rainbow, which will take place in November. During my entire presentation, I'm going to have the slideshow running on the screen. This is about 32 slides. I am not going to go through every slide, but it will be on the website for you to go back for any future references that you may want to. Дякую. The Canada-Ukraine Foundation was established in 1995 by the Ukrainian-Canadian Congress in order to coordinate, develop, organize, and deliver assistance projects generated by Canadians and directed to Ukraine. We are a national Canadian charity, and we have a mandate to do work in Canada and anywhere in the world. Our vision statement reads as follows: to assist in the development of a democratic nation with a civil society that maintains and develops culture, tradition, and language in Ukraine by strengthening strategic partnerships in Ukraine and Canada. Our mission statement is to attain the vision by supporting, funding, and managing humanitarian, economic development, governance, and rule of law projects that focus on Ukraine. Our charitable objects are primarily 4. We have the legal right to relieve poverty. We can advance education. For example, we make donations to the Kyivo-Mogilyansky Institute. Advancement of religion. We raise funds for the Ukrainian Catholic Sobor that is being built here in Kyiv. And we can also do other purposes beneficial to the community. And it is under that, shall we say, rubrica where we are going to be doing Operation Rainbow. Before I get to Operation Rainbow, I will give you a brief rundown of the 5 other projects that we're running in Ukraine at the moment. Our main project to date has been with Caritas Ukraine, and that is to help the Nebesna Sotnya, the families. We are working with Caritas to look after their needs. I'm going to review next week to review the progress. We sent a brigade of psychologists to the ATO front 3 months ago. We started out with 12 volunteers. They're now up to 60, and they're asking me to extend the program for another 3 months. We were able to finance a first aid medic training who's come here to work with the Patriot Defense Program. And he's had 23 years in the Canadian Army, so he can train the trainers in how to deal with traumas on the field. And we're going to be extending that for another 3 months. We have a pilot program going on right now with the widows and orphans of the ATO soldiers that were killed. 3 groups have already gone through, and a 4th one is ready to start. Once we see what the results of that are, we may be working with the volunteer psychologist in Ukraine to promote that program. And the last one is a very small one, but Kobo has given us 2,000 e-book readers. They have now been shipped to Ukraine, and they're now being reprogrammed into Ukrainian and Russian, so as the soldiers and the orphans can, get some relief when they're lying in bed. Okay? Now I get to my main presentation. As we all know, can you hear me? As we all know, a student movement protesting President Yanukovych's refusal to sign a European Association Agreement was instituted in Kyiv in November of 2013. Confrontations between civil demonstrators and armed government police and militia resulted in 1,790 people being injured, of which almost 1,200 were hospitalized and required some level of surgery. With the Russian occupation of Crimea and rapidly increasing violent provocations in eastern Ukraine, the number of injuries has increased dramatically. As of September 5th, when we had our latest information from the UNF office, United Nations office, we found that there's been almost 3,000 deaths and 7,640 injuries. These injuries have included soldiers and innocent bystanders. Local medical facilities and personnel are overwhelmed. Post-traumatic deformities and defects in particular are not being addressed. In April of 2014, the Canada-Ukraine Foundation sponsored a team of health professionals to travel to Ukraine to perform an urgent medical needs assessment. This resulted in a number of surgical initiatives, and the primary initiative of this is the Canadian Surgical Mission to Kyiv, scheduled for November 6th to the 16th, 2014. The primary objective is to send a self-contained team of volunteer Canadian surgical professionals to perform reconstructive surgery. The team will focus on treating post-traumatic deformities of the face, skull, and upper extremities. And if you're paying attention to the slideshow, you will see some of the before and after pictures of what the surgeons will be doing. Not only will they be doing crane and face, but they'll be doing microsurgery on hands, so as people they'll take their toes and put them in. So and they're going to do, so there'll be 3 areas, and also they'll look at the eyes. The secondary objective of this mission is to foster self-reliance within Ukrainian surgery centers with the ability to attend to specialized trauma and post-traumatic reconstructive surgery. And 2 is to initiate an ongoing collaborative education program with the University of Toronto Department of Surgery and academic surgical centers in Kyiv through a telesurgery feature where live surgical demonstrations will be performed in Toronto, and they'll be linked to educational centers in Ukraine, so the surgeons here can learn about some of the complicated procedures we have going. Okay, so getting back specifically to Rainbow, this is a project that has been initiated by the trauma surgeons of Sunnybrook Health Sciences Centre, University of Toronto. That is an institution in Toronto, Ontario, and it is organized in collaboration with Operation Rainbow Canada. This is a totally unrelated Canadian non-for-profit organization which does surgeries around the world. Operation Rainbow Canada has already been on 23 international missions since 1998 and has extensive experience in organizing and implementing international missions. Dr. Kimit Ray, founder and director of Rainbow Canada, is the chief surgeon on this mission. The team consists of 4 plastic surgeons who specialize in craniofacial, facial reconstructive, hand and lower extremities reconstruction, a general surgeon, and a plastic surgeon resident. In addition to the team, we'll have 3 anesthesists, 5 operating room nurses, 3 PACU nurses, and a post-operative clinic nurse. We also have an administrative staff of a mission coordinator and 2 facilitators to help them here. The financial support for this mission was raised through a specific fundraising event called United for Ukraine, which took place at the Toronto Convention Center in Toronto on September 11th, 2014. Guest speakers of the event were the Prime Minister of Canada, Stephen Harper, Wayne Gretzky, and Eugene Melnyk. During that one evening event, we raised enough funds to finance this entire trip. So the team will arrive in Kyiv on November 7th. They're scheduled for a meeting with the Canadian Embassy that day to initiate the mission, and then the next day there'll be an all-day outpatient clinic where they will decide on which order the operations will be done. Between the 10th of November and the 15th of November, the team will occupy 4 operating rooms at the Kyiv Military Hospital, which is the host facility, and the intent is to run 3 operating rooms throughout the day for 6 days. So we anticipate we will be able to handle anywhere up to 100 operations during that 1 week. So our ultimate aim is to ensure that each and every patient receives the safest and most effective treatment for their condition, and that they benefit from some of the sophisticated technology, procedures, and expertise that all Canadians have access to. Дякую, що ви мене вислухали. Thank you for your... Are there any questions? Є якісь запити?
Дуже дякую, пане Віктор.
Thank you very much. Canada was the first country that actively started to react to events on Maidan and provided support. Thank you very much for your project. How many patients will be able to receive assistance in the framework of this project? About 100 this time. How will they choose patients? There is the process has started. We're working with the initiative Year Plus. And they collect all that information, who was wounded, and then the doctors will check. We have all the information. We know their condition, and then doctors will choose who will be the first. So we can make this time we can make only 100 operations and imagine Ukraine. Will you continue this project in the future? Or you will make only this? This is the first step. We would like to see whether there will be a need in such operations and in such a surgery, and if yes, and then we would like to train Ukrainian doctors to learn these procedures, because they can make these surgeries here, but our surgeries are more complicated, and they rebuild the skull, the crane, and nobody is practicing that in Ukraine. So we would like to share that with Ukraine. Thank you very much. Are you planning to organize a training for Ukrainian doctors in Canada for them to be able to learn there? I forgot about that it will be not only TV surgery, but there are special scholarship funds, and for the next year, in 2015, 2 or 3 doctors who graduate here, for them to come to Canada, and they will work in Canada for a year, for them to come back to Ukraine, and then to be able to share that the knowledge with their colleagues. So it's not only one-time project, but yes, one more question, because assistance in a lot of assistance to provide it to Ukraine. Some experts are skeptical. They say Ukrainian government is relaxed and they rely completely on assistance of volunteers. And they are not as effective as the government should work. So the question to you: how to monitor efficiency, how that assistance is used in Ukraine for that money that Ukraine receives to be maximally used, how to monitor efficiency of such charity money that come to Ukraine.
We have such an approach that we do not send money. We spend the money but deliver assistance, and during the last 50 years we have learned how the money is spent here in Ukraine. That's why that money which we raise we spend through our sources and provide actual assistance. And as a regular citizens, just ordinary citizen, for Ukrainian people, it is quite. How much does it cost for Ukrainian citizen to pay for surgery operation in Canada? If doctors have decided that you need something to be inserted into your head, for example, this will be done, the operation surgery will be done free. In Canada, we have private hospitals, but I do not know how much does it cost. Can I get your contacts for the future? Any further questions, dear colleagues? We do not have further colleagues. Thank you very much. We had President of the Ukrainian of Canada-Ukraine Foundation, Mr. Viktor Hetmanczuk, and thank you. Glory to Ukraine. Glory to heroes.